before we even talk about the crime itself, I do want to talk about the battle for the narrative. So I I feel like I am keeping my head while everyone is losing theirs. And it is incredible what we are seeing on the timeline. Now, first off, there clearly are some shit libs who looked at this event and were like, "Yeah, good, you got what you deserved," or made fun of it, or created comic versions of his death and so on. That is extremely shitty behavior, and but I at the same time, I don't. I think it's unfair to over exaggerate that and think like every Democrat is doing this. Now, the reaction to this by the right has this very particular conservative, passive aggressive authoritarianism to it. So, first off, I don't want to dwell on this, but I've seen a number of cruel cartoons about George Floyd, etc., posted by mainstream conservatives and right wingers over the years. So this idea that they are uniquely insusceptible to sadism, I think is incorrect. But let's just put all that aside. In the conservative mind, it's what I mean by passive aggressive authoritarianism is that they see event like this, they are absolutely shocked by it, angered, totally understandable in my mind. I felt the exact same way. And then they go from 0 to 60 in zero point 0.0 seconds flat. And they conclude almost immediately that the entire left was behind this. This was the last straw. We can no longer tolerate anything, and we must do something. There is some sort of whirlwind that is coming, and it is going to swoop up the entire left, the Democratic Party and Antifa and Marxists, and whirl them into oblivion or something like that. They are out for blood. They think this is a turning point. It is 9/11 for them. They're saying that in their own words. And I don't know exactly what they want to do. Maybe they want to go out in the street and fight people. Maybe they want to go out in the street as we saw this weekend in London, and have a rally and get energized. I've also heard a domestic war on terrorism. And so we're right back to that passive aggressive authoritarianism post 9/11, where it's, look what you made me do. It's, we're freedom loving people, but we're going to suspend all that, and we are going to go after Muslims here and abroad and be rather ruthless about it. I don't know what's going to happen, and we can talk about predictions, but the exact same type of mindset is present, I can see, among normal conservatives. We're not talking, Patriot Front marches. We're not talking about hardcore white nationalists. We're talking about TPUSA attending conservatives who want a domestic war on terrorism now to go after the left. We need to break up the networks. We need to surveil them. Every single person in that Discord server needs to be arrested yesterday. This type of attitude is remarkable. So do you have any comments on that, JF, or observations?
Yeah, I had started feeling the witch hunt last time we spoke, and I denunciated the witch hunt. I tweeted about it. I can't join this. I don't like mobs. I am truly a freedom, edgy boy of the internet, an anarchist at heart, a libertarian. I really, really like liberty. And I guess what we can conclude is that there's an incompatibility with the, in effect, moral puritanism of the American people as it stands, and the founding ideas of America. The
Hmm.
people drifted away from the First Amendment, and there's less and less people who care if you bring an argument on principle, and they will tell you, yes, First Amendment, JF, I get everything you're talking about, but it's not time for this. It's time for war. So there's this kind of martial law in people's head that's going on, and they convert into a different mode. I don't blame them. I don't even judge them. I'm just saying, and I don't even care if the leftists end up paying, because honestly, I think there's a bunch of leftists out there with jobs from the states that just should be cleared out from rich society. They make a living of not being very productive. So I really
Hmm.
don't care about the consequences of these witch hunts, but I just can't join them because it's not in my nature. I'm a black sheep.
I'm the same way. The other thing, for every nasty freak who is genuinely reveling in Charlie Kirk's death, there seems to be about 10 people who don't like Charlie Kirk and are saying things that might be a bit sarcastic, might be nasty on the edges, but also might have content to them. And there seems to be a kind of puritanical rage around Charlie Kirk where it's like, say Jesus is Lord, say Jesus is Lord. Like you have to weep at the feet of Charlie. You have to understand that he was sacrificed for our sins, or we are going to go after you, dox you, get you fired. Like this, Charlie Kirk was benign in the sense that he was very boring in my mind, tedious, in fact, in his platitudes for conservatism. He would get edgy on occasion of like DEI means didn't earn it, um, kind of stuff. I understand why, like on a personal level and on an ideas level, that most people don't like Charlie Kirk. So I'm not really gonna. I don't like Charlie Kirk. I loved Charlie Kirk for the first time when he suffered because I had just absolute sympathy, and I could even imagine myself in that position. Even beyond my own personal fears, I just felt for the man and his family. I still, when I can separate that from his public persona, which I found exceedingly annoying. And so I don't judge liberals for not like mourning. It's
Yeah.
just bizarre. It goes further than some Antifa freak, tweeting out a meme. It's like you aren't celebrating the life enough. You aren't attending the funeral. Like we saw you weren't crying. Well, I noticed one tear. I want 10, 100 tears at the funeral. You didn't cry enough. It's bizarre what they are doing. And again, I do understand it on some level, but I'm just simply not going to take part in this. I guess I have enough self-respect.
Yeah, because I mean we're long-term people. I don't want to mislead my crowd into this rage bait where they think they will change the world by getting an Antifa professor fired. I'll be on the internet in 5 years from now, and I don't want people to say, "Well, Jeff, we followed you on this. We took action, and nothing happened." Because the fact is, these individuals targeting, it's not particularly productive. It does punish like generally on the left, and I guess if you're really just about hurting and harming the other side, maybe you score a point. But you're also farming finer people on the left because if you attack speech, and I think that's the principle of the First Amendment, if you attack speech, you are training people to not speak. You are training the schizos that will stay isolated and pop out of nowhere every 20 years. So attacking speech is never really worth it because the reality is the true extremists, they shut up. Same way, this guy, Lance Twiggs, the trans boyfriend,
Hmm.
this guy knew how to shut up. I've analyzed his entire Reddit history. He sounds like a
Mm.
gay liberal, almost centrist in a way. He certainly doesn't sound like an Antifa. He hid it. It took his family to say, no, he's a psychopathic Antifa type. So
Interesting.
very important not to farm into your enemy the strain of resistance.
That's interesting. So what I hear you're saying is that you have there's this chilling effect, but you're saying something even deeper, which is that psychopaths revel in the chill discourse in the sense
Oh
that they
yeah,
can just say a few shibboleths here and there, a few talking points, and just kind of hide amongst you in a way.
absolutely. The
Uh,
psychopath, he has all of
yeah.
the layers, especially an extremely online one. They have all of the layers to interact with a boomer, to interact with a conservative, but to them, they're never really revealing their true self, which is exactly what Lance Twiggs did throughout his life, except with his closest family member who have seen him at his most angry.